everyone. Welcome to episode 36 of Otome Shimai.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Vika.
And we are sisters who play Otome games.
Episode 36. A full episode.
Yes.
We did a half episode last time.
We did.
What did we call it?
Otome Shimai Shorts.
Otome Shimai Short, which you are not.
But you are.
That's true. You are the taller sister. So what's episode 36?
Episode 36 is Reviews and Twos, Olympia Soiree, Part 1, spoiler free.
So today we are going to be talking about Olympia Soiree, basically who everyone is and what we think of them, generally.
And the basic plot.
So what's the basic plot?
Welcome to Magical Racist Island, where you have a part-time job as a postal worker, your assistant is a chubby mouse, and all the while you're looking for a husband. You basically have free reign of the place because you are white. Also, your mom is dead.
That was really nice.
Thank you.
I like that. Okay, but first, before we get into Olympia Soiree, who are you doing this week?
This game.
This game?
I finished this game.
You finished this game in preparation for this episode?
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess that makes sense. That is who you have done this week.
What are you?
What am I? What am I?
Yeah. What are you? What are you, sister?
Honestly, I have no idea what I am. But I did play Tears of Themis this week because I hadn't played for many, many months.
Oh, did you ever figure out why Themis is crying?
No, I didn't. But the reason I got back into it wasn't necessarily because I hadn't played for a long time. It was because I was on a Kaji Yuki and Suabe Junichi kick.
I approve of one of those.
Hey, why are you giving Kaji Yuki a hard time?
He plays a lot of creepy babies, and that's your thing.
I love the creepy babies,
Yes.
I also love Suabe Junichi.
Well, everyone should love Suabe Junichi.
That's completely objective. It is a rule.
It is a rule.
Anyways, let's get on to today's topic. So, let's talk about when we played this game. It's been out for a while.
I played it now. I mean, I literally bought it when it first came out in Japanese, and I finished it, like, yesterday.
So, you've been holding on to it for a while.
I wasn't holding on to it. I just had other things going on.
So it was your backlog until we decided to do a reviews and twos?
Yes, literally. Quite literally.
Well, I got it for Christmas, and I started playing it in February. It took me a while because, life happens.
Yeah, we had a lot of life.
We did have a lot of life. But I played it in English. As usual, my sister plays these games in Japanese, so we get the best of both worlds here.
Except when we played Collar Malice, we both played it in English.
That is true. We did.
Do you remember why we both played it in English?
No.
Because it was way more expensive for me to get it in Japanese than it was in English for some reason.
That is very strange.
It was really strange.
Well, I'm glad we got to play it in our chosen languages.
Yeah, it's the same reason why I have all of the Code Realize games in English and not Japanese.
Because it was so much cheaper.
Yeah, because it was cheaper.
I don't understand why they do that. Anyways, that's not the topic today. The topic is Olympia Soiree. So let's give a general summary of basically what it's about. So Olympia Soiree begins on Tenguu Island, which is a fictional island in the middle of who knows where.
The ocean!
Yeah, it's an island, so it's in the middle of the ocean.
I mean, islands can be in lakes too.
That is true. This one is not in a lake. It is in an ocean.
Do we really know that, though? It could be a saltwater lake that's really big.
Maybe. But either way, that's not the point. It's an island, but what happens on the island is the important part. So anyways, color, basically race, is the ruling societal structure on this island, where the primary colors are the most beautiful, respected classes, and mixed colors are the ugly dregs of society.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up here, to be honest. The story starts on Olympia's 18th birthday, where she's forced to go out into the world and find a husband to mate with, to maintain the purity of her white bloodline.
Wow.
Yep, that too. This is real important in this story because she's literally the last of the white on Earth.
Okay.
Well, at least on this island.
So our MC's homeland is Tenguu Island, where the women of the white lived and prayed to the goddess of the sun, Amaterasu.
Amaterasu!
Only women could be born to the white because Amaterasu apparently hated men.
for reasons we shall not go into on this episode.
When Olympia, our MC, was still a child, something called the Red Calamity happened that wiped out everyone on Tenguu Island except for her.
Well, there's reasons why she didn't get wiped out, but we're not going to talk about that either.
All my friends are dead.
And my mother too. Real sad, real sad. So anyways, we're left with Olympia, who's the last of her kind and has been taken in by a man called Doma of the Yellow, who is kind of really a jerk. Like, I really dislike Doma. He's not a nice man. Anyways, Doma created something called the solar link, which helps Olympia keep the sun in the sky.
Because everyone else with that job is now dead.
That's right. She's the only one who can keep the sun in the sky because she is the only one who is white.
Okay.
Anyways, part of her job is to dance in prayer and offer sho, which is basically crystallized souls of the dead, to Amaterasu to make sure the world doesn't fall into darkness.
Cool.
Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, anyways, during her husband hunting adventure, she meets some really cool and sometimes not so cool possible love interests and side characters.
But before we delve into who our favorites are, let's talk about
the world.
The world.
Racism and classism and sexism. Oh my. I do not want to live on this island.
No, I don't either.
Yeah. Women are literally killed for loving someone of a different color. Note, it's always the women that are killed, unless she's pregnant, because of course. The men are just banished to the Yomi, which we'll talk about later. And, I don't even want to know what it would be like to be queer here.
Yeah, I didn't see any queer or gay characters in this game at all. Not once. Tenguu Island is broken up into upper and lower domains. In the upper part of the island, the primary and secondary color classes live and thrive. This is where all of the big government buildings are, like the Kotowari headquarters, Ishanaten, which is the sacred shrine where leaders of the island meet, and the gigantic gate made out of sho, again, crystallized souls of the dead, Amano Mihashira.
And then the lower part of the island is Yomi. They never see the sun, so you have to basically go through a cave entrance called Kunado, which is guarded so the people of the Yomi can't leave.
Wonderful. They're
Yeah.
underground. Isn't that such a great place to be?
Wonderful. Yomi is home to anyone who has an undesired color.
What is an undesired color?
Like the otsu, which is mixed colors born to primary or secondary colors, or the versi, which is somebody with rare or unusual color traits, as well as criminals.
Yep, so regular people and criminals.
Yep.
What's a criminal on this island?
Oh, criminal on this island is anything, but it mostly is people who fell in love with people of other colors.
Sad.
It also could be a murderer. You all get sent to Yomi.
Yomi is not that bad, though.
I mean, because Yosuka's bathhouse is there?
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. The bathhouse, Shikinjo, is wonderful. It's gorgeous.
It's also where Naraku is, which is the more under place where Tsukuyomi lives in solitude. We'll talk about Tsukuyomi later.
That's right. But first, let's talk about the MC.
Olympia!
Olympia's true name is actually Byakuya, but nobody really knows that because she's idolized on the island for her sun-bringing abilities. At the beginning of the game, many of the people on the island think she's super creepy because she's really white. And by really white, I mean really, really white.
Everything is white.
She is fair. Her hair is white. Everything is white.
Her eyes are white.
That's right. Yes, her eyes are white. You're right. And everyone thinks she's like a doll because she doesn't speak to anyone. Also, can you blame her? Everyone she loves is dead.
I cannot blame her for not speaking to anyone.
That's right. But on her 18th birthday, she has to kind of go out and actually start interacting with people so she can make more white babies.
Fun!
Isn't that exciting? She's got a great story.
She does have a great story. I feel really bad for her, though. Because she gets certain privileges, like being able to marry any color class she chooses, or that's what they tell her. And as she interacts with other characters, she really does begin to show her true personality.
Yes, she does.
So, what do we think about our MC?
Honestly, I thought Byakuya was actually a quite charming main character. One thing that surprised me was that she actually has her own opinions, and even though she does act rashly sometimes, she doesn't really strike me as the clueless type. She mostly is just a product of her environment. She's naive because she's been stuck in Doma's manor for over 10 years with no one but a mouse to talk to. By the way, the mouse talks back, but she doesn't speak his language, and it is a shame. I really wish she could have talked to the mouse. Like, he was talking to her, had great points, lots of things to say, and she was like, I don't know what you're saying. You're just so cute and chubby.
We understand the mouse, though.
We do. What about you? Did you like Olympia?
I quite like Olympia as an MC. I think that she is very smart, and she sticks to her morals. And of course, there's a big learning curve for her socially due to the reasons that you mentioned. She basically didn't speak to anyone for 10 years.
Yeah.
But once she starts to learn about the island and the island's culture and traditions, she has no issues letting people know that she disagrees with their way of doing things and why. And, she wants to work to change the island for the better. And I really liked that about her.
Yeah, I like that too. There were some cases where she would say something super controversial about the class system, and the other allies would be like, kind of don't say that out loud, but also they tended to agree with her, which was kind of cool. But I really got a kick out of her.
Yeah.
She made me laugh a lot.
Yeah, definitely. She's got a good head on her shoulders.
She totally does, although a bit naive.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how many times she couldn't figure out why it wasn't okay to take off her clothes in front of men.
Oh my gosh. She wasn't taught any better, okay?
What did Doma know? Anyways, let's talk about the allies.
The allies.
Who's first?
First is Riku, and he's first because he's the only ally whose name doesn't end with an A.
Oh, that's a good point. They literally all end in an A.
Except for Riku.
Except for Riku. I wonder why they did that.
I don't know. He's a blue boy.
He is blue. He's the blue of blue. Most blue.
He is very blue. He is supposed to be the next blue leader.
That's right.
He's got a big stick up his butt.
That he does.
Yeah, he does. He's in their military guard.
He spends a lot of time admonishing Olympia from going down past the gate into Yomi.
Yeah, don't go into Yomi. And
It's
she's
dangerous.
like,
And
I
she's
don't
like,
care what you think. He's also a giant Tsuntsun.
Which
He's
is really
super
cute.
tsundere and a glutton for punishment as the story goes on. So he's hard on himself too.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you think of him?
I loved him. His personality seems so dominant at first because, like, when she meets him at the Kunado gate, he's on duty, but eventually he just turns into an awkward Tsuntsun who doesn't know how to deal with his feelings. It's great. I think he blushes more than any other ally in this game, and it is the cutest thing.
He does blush a lot.
He is adorable.
He doesn't know how to interact with ladies.
He does not. He's so cute. I love him.
Yeah.
What about Amakusa Shiro Tokisada?
Tokisada is the green boy.
He is green.
Yeah, he's one of the few quote-unquote outsiders on the island, so he wasn't born on the island.
That's right. We didn't mention outsiders, but Doma is also an outsider. These are people who just, like, end up on the island. They come from goodness knows where.
Yeah, so Tokisada washed up on shore a few years back, and they were like, you look like you are mostly green, so we're gonna give you to the green.
Yep, we're gonna make you green.
Yeah, and he is green. He has another mouse.
Yes.
He has Olympia's mouse's brother.
Yes.
He also calls Olympia One-san, which
I loved it.
I'm not into.
I thought it was cute.
But Tokisada is definitely manlier than advertised. Like, he's younger than Olympia. He's 17 years old, and so he calls her One-san, and so he seems like he's gonna be like the One-san type. But he definitely is much manlier than advertised, and I was like, you're a baby.
There is a CG with his shirt off, and I find it very sexy.
He's a baby.
Well, I love him. He has some secrets, but personality-wise, I think he's just adorable. He's lonely because he's an outsider, and honestly, I think, like, his story is him just wanting to make friends, because he has no friends. And I thought his relationship with Byakudo was really the perfect image of the stereotypical younger brother trope, until the things happen, which we won't say here. And I thought it did get a bit steamier. At the end, like I said.
This is a steamy game.
It is
just
a steamy game.
FYI.
Just FYI.
This
You
is
will have
about
sex.
finding...
It is about finding your mate.
Yeah, finding a husband and making babies, so the sex happens.
That's right. They don't shy away from that.
No.
What about Yosuga?
He's purple.
That's right. He is purple.
And he runs a bathhouse.
When we say he is purple, we don't mean his skin is purple.
His hair is
You all
purple.
are aware, right? Just to be clear.
He is of the purple.
That he is of the purple, that's right.
That's a weird phrase.
That's how they say it in the game. That is how they translate it. Riku of the blue, Tokisada of the green, Yosuga of the purple.
What would we be of? Would we be of the brown? It's typically with the color of their hair most of the time.
That's true. But I feel like my hair, my natural hair color, is the same color as Kuroba, so maybe might be of the black.
And then because I've got green eyes and brown hair, so would I be of the green like Tokisada, or would I be of the brown? What is there brown? They'd make me live in Yomi.
Yeah, they would. We would both be living in Yomi.
Fun. Well, at least we'd still be together.
That's right. Anyways, we were talking about Yosuga. Sorry, we got sidetracked.
Yosuga. Yosuga is a bit of an instigator. He will feed you and offer you places to have sex with the other LIs, no matter which route you're in.
Isn't that fun?
He has a bathhouse. There are rooms there.
That's right. Honestly, I loved him. Also, he's a man of secrets, definitely has his own agenda, and it definitely shows because his personality type is basically mysterious.
Ooh,
like, that's it. You meet him and he's just mysterious.
Mystery. So mystery sexy.
Extra mystery.
I don't like the color of his shirt. It's too close to the color of his skin, and it makes me think that he's shirtless, and then you have to look closely and you realize that he's not shirtless.
But I like that anyway.
If he were shirtless, it would be fine. But he is not shirtless. He is wearing a shirt that is flesh-toned.
I don't mind it. I think it's great. I think he's gorgeous. He's got demons, but
he's hot.
He's a hot man.
He is hot. Yosuga's really hot.
The whole thing about him having demons is a fact he takes very seriously, as his title is the Jigoku Dayu, or the Steward of Hell.
Oh, that's a fun title.
Yeah, it's in reference to his position in Yomi, because, Yomi is the under, and
he runs the bathhouse, which obviously makes him the steward.
Well, there's other reasons why, but we're not going to go into that. You'll have to play his route. Anyways,
his bathhouse is very popular.
It is very popular for people who are also living on the upper side of the island too.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, are there any other bathhouses?
No, I think that's the only one.
So he has the only bathhouse.
He's got a monopoly on bathhouses in Tenguu Island. It's messed up though, because only people from the surface, and people from below, but people from the surface can go down to Yomi whenever they want to visit the bathhouse. But people from Yomi can't go up to the surface to visit goodness who knows where. Because there's some great places on the surface. There's a waterfall. They have a waterfall. It's a really pretty waterfall.
Because the people in Yomi are stuck there. They're either mixed or criminals, because, being mixed is the same as being a criminal.
That's right.
In this game.
I mean, take a lesson from South Africa, or basically any other country.
I don't want to.
Let's continue talking about the characters.
We'd both be in Yomi anyways.
Why?
Because we'd both be Hazushi.
You're right, we would be Hazushi.
Now we have to
explain what Hazushi is.
You want to explain what Hazushi is, my dear sister?
Well, basically, Hazushi is when you fall in love and do the consummation with someone who is not of your color class. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Racism, classism, and sexism.
Oh my.
Let's talk about
Kuroba, sexy, flirty doctor who has all the racism pointed at him because he is black.
That's right. Well, he is not black. He's actually quite tan.
He's of the black.
He is of the black.
And he's voiced by Sugita Tomokazu.
That's right.
Which is an important fact.
Yes, it is.
For me. I like Kuroba.
Yes. Well, I also like Kuroba so much, in fact, that I love Kuroba. He is a sexy, smart man who wants to save the world of a disease called Haku, which is basically the plague. He wants to eradicate the world of the plague.
They have the plague here.
Yes, they have the plague here.
That makes sense.
Lots of things are going on in this island, y'all. He's working on a miracle medicine to eradicate the disease, and he's the only doctor in Yomu?
Reading?
No.
He's the only doctor who reads.
He's the only... Oh, that would be awfully bad if all the doctors don't read except for this particular one. How did you get your license to practice, sir or madam?
I listened.
No, Kuroba is the only doctor in Yomi because he's black. All the other doctors live on the surface.
And they don't want to go to Yomi.
It's pretty messed up, if you ask me.
This game is really fucking messed up.
Yeah, it really is.
Luckily, they know it's really fucking messed up.
Yeah, it's part of the storyline.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Himuka. Creepy baby. Himuka's a creepy baby, and it's his job to reap souls, and he's an Olympia stan from, day 0.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Creepy baby.
Honestly, though, I love him.
Because he's a creepy baby.
I mean, not just because he's a creepy baby, but yeah, I do love him, and I think he's a great character. Sorry, we can't say much about Himiko because you literally don't find anything about him until you're in his route.
Yep.
All we know is that he's very pretty, has gray hair, and carries around a skull with sho in its eye sockets.
Creepy.
Yeah, he's creepy, but I love him anyway.
Creepy baby. Creepy baby. Creepy babies are Vika's type. He'd be perfect if he was voiced by Kaji Yuki.
He would be. Although his voice actor was really, really good.
Yeah.
He did creepy to a T.
Creepy.
Let's talk about the last love interest.
Akaza.
Akaza.
He's the serious man. He's so serious. He's very serious about his job. He's of the red. He's red man, very important, serious job.
That's
and
right.
Everyone wants Olympia to marry him, and she's not particularly into it. Like,
Well,
that's the whole beginning of the game. It's like, you're supposed to get married. Here's someone who would be good for you to marry.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't blame her for not being into it because he's the first one she meets, and he goes, well, if no one else will marry you, I'll marry you.
I know, right?
Not the best proposal.
No, it's not. And he doesn't understand why she's upset about it because he's a little awkward. But he's very serious, man. He was serious about it. He was serious. Like, I will marry you.
So, Yosuga's personality type is mysterious. Is Akaza's personality type serious?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Do you disagree?
No, I think you're right.
He's a very serious man. He's hot, though.
Yep.
So what do you think of him?
I love him. What?
Do you have any opinions about these allies other than I love him?
I was giving my opinions, but honestly, I love him.
Okay.
I love them. I love them all.
Okay.
The reason why I love him is because he wears glasses, but also doesn't wear glasses.
That makes no sense.
Yes, it does. He wears glasses when he needs them, like me, when he's working, but when he doesn't need them, in his free time, going to the beach, getting on a boat, he doesn't need to wear his glasses, so he does it, and he's cute either way.
Sister?
Yes.
You should wear your glasses all the time.
No, I shouldn't. Leave me alone. Anyways, he is a very responsible boy. He's basically her postal supervisor because he approves the letters she brings to and from Yomi.
He works for the government.
That he does. Like we said, Olympia's job is basically being a postal worker because she decides to put together this postal service where she brings letters from Yomi to the surface and back because there's no way for people to interact with each other. There's a lot of cases where people who are from the surface who have committed a crime, quote unquote, committed a crime because they fell in love with someone from their not color class and got sent to Yomi and never get to speak to their family again.
Yep.
There's other reasons why you could get sent to Yomi, though.
There are other reasons, like punching someone, or murdering people,
True.
or stealing something.
Or non-criminal reasons. You just happen to be born and your hair is brown, but you just happen to be born, but your hair is brown and your parents' hair is blue.
That's true. But you know what I realized? I said that you and I would be sent to Yomi, but in reality, we wouldn't have been sent to Yomi. Our significant others would be sent to Yomi, and we would be killed. That is what this world is.
Anyways, that is dark, and I'd like to talk about the side characters now.
Cool. Except I'm right. And that is what this game is. This game is dark.
It is dark.
This happens in this game. The woman is killed and the man is sent to Yomi.
Yes, I know.
Because we're temptresses, apparently.
It's absolutely true.
Racism and classism and sexism. Oh my.
Anyways, let's talk about side characters now. Can we talk about side characters?
We can talk about side characters.
Okay, let's talk about Doma first.
Doma is another outsider, so he was not born on the island. He just ended up there. He is the leader of the Yellow. Olympia grew up in his household after she had to leave Tenguu Island because of, the dead people.
The red calamity happened and she ended up there, basically.
Yeah. He is very straightforward and strict to the point of it being rude.
Extremely rude. He is very rude and grumpy and mean, and we just don't like him.
Does he actually have a heart of gold, though?
Unknown at this time.
Yeah. A lot of people on the island assume that Olympia is his mistress, and that is real fucking weird.
Yeah, he's super old.
And she's like, what are you talking about? I've been living here since I was like 8 years old.
He's like her dad, but not.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a cooler leader, like Jigen.
Oh, Jigen.
Jigen is also an outsider. He's the leader of the Red. He's actually comparatively nice when you put him next to the other leaders.
Yeah.
He likes collecting things that have washed up on the beach.
Including people. He collects people off the beach. He collected one of the allies off the beach.
That's right. He did. He's a collector of goods.
Yes.
Let's talk about Shura, the leader of the blue.
The leader of the blue, Shura. She's the only female leader because her husband is dead.
Yep.
Yeah, Olympia looks up to her quite a bit.
I mean, I don't blame her. Power, beauty, and she's female.
She's not an outsider.
Surprise, surprise. 2 of the leaders are outsiders, and Shura is not.
Because her husband is dead.
Because her husband is dead. Well, actually, I like all of those characters. Let's talk about a character that I don't like so much.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really likes him.
Kanan.
Kanan.
I hate him. I hate him with a passion.
Kanan is the leader of the Orange. He's the young leader of the Orange.
Is he the leader or is he the next leader?
He's the leader.
Oy.
Yeah. He's in charge of the island's newspaper.
That's
and
right.
He will print shit he knows to be untrue.
Super sus.
Super sus. He also has a twin brother who lives in Yomi, who is less sus, and we're not going to talk about him now. We'll talk about him in the next episode,
That's
okay?
right. We can't say much. Then after Kannan, we can talk about Tsukuyomi, who is actually MC's, I should just call her by her name. Her name is Byakuya. Byakuya's father figure. Like, he is very, very mysterious.
He's more mystery than Yosuga.
He's way more mystery than Yosuga. He's the closest thing to family that Olympia has. He lives way, way underground and makes prosthetics and dolls, and was the protector of the white woman on Tenyo until they all died.
Yes.
He still protects Olympia, though.
He does.
He does his best.
Yeah. What about Daifuku?
Daifuku, that's the last character we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Daifuku is my favorite character, actually.
Why?
I love him more than all the other allies.
Why?
Because he's baby, and he's mouse, and he's friend.
Baby mouse friend.
That's right. He's very round, he loves food, and he loves Olympia. I mean...
I love round things.
I love round things. I really, really wish Olympia could have spoken to him. That was one of the things that got on my nerves, because he was speaking to her and telling her things in full sentences, and she was like, "Oh, you're so cute. I have no idea what you're saying."
There's like a whole mouse family in this game.
Yes, there is.
And they all talk to each other, and we, as the players, can understand what they're saying, but nobody else can understand what they're saying.
Actually, there is one person who can understand what they're saying.
You're right. But
Yes.
that's neither here nor there.
That's right. We won't talk about that now. All right. So we've introduced Olympia. We've introduced all the allies. Riku, Tokisada, Yosuga, Kuroba. Who am I forgetting?
Himuka.
And Akaza.
You forgot Creepy Baby.
I forget Himuka. Oh, shame on me. And then we introduced the side characters. So what were our overall non-spoilery thoughts?
Okay, so I need to talk about the way that they did the common route.
Okay.
Because I have opinions on that.
All right.
The common route was extremely long. Like, extremely long. And that is something that I don't typically have issues with. Especially if there is still enough, like, individual route. And in this game, there was. My issue is that it was a common route where you didn't get any choices whatsoever. It was basically a kinetic novel. And it was, I don't know, for me, it was more than 10 hours of gameplay. Just on the common route.
I remember that. Honestly, the first couple of days that I played this game, I literally just sat on the couch and watched it on auto.
Yeah.
Because that's all you could do. There are no options. There is no route choices that you can make in the beginning.
Yeah, so it's not like a game where you can make choices throughout the common route and that tells you whose route you're in at the end of the common route. It's just you watch the common routes and then you choose whose route you're going into.
Yeah. Which makes it easy to start a route. But one thing that made me upset was the fact that you did have to go back and, like, remember parts of the common route if there were pieces that you didn't recall when you were in a route already.
Yeah, and you see, that bothers me. Something that I like about especially longer common routes is that when you're going for each individual ally, typically you make the different choices and you get a little bit more of the story each time and it keeps things fresh while reminding you of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
I remember when I first played Hakuoki, it was like that. You get a little bit of different things each time.
Code Realize was definitely like that.
Yeah, Code Realize is very much like that. Café Enchanté is also like that, except more so. They have a really long common route, and then depending on the choices you make, you actually get big chunks with each individual character before you end up in their route. But with this, it was for me, it ended up becoming rather monotonous.
Yeah.
Because I really like interacting with the story, and for me, that's a huge pull for Otome games versus just reading a book or watching a TV show.
Yeah. My main struggle with it was that after I played the common route, I forgot a lot as I had started playing the other routes.
Yeah, and it's a complicated story.
But to be honest, I didn't hate it that much. Like, I really enjoyed the process of, like, sitting down and, like, playing it on auto and listening to it and watching it as I was doing something else. Like, it was kind of relaxing. It was like listening to an audiobook almost. And I love listening to audiobooks.
Yeah, and I think there's a big difference because you, number one, listen to a lot of audiobooks, but also you typically play on auto.
I do.
That is something that you do, and it is not something that I do because since I'm playing in Japanese, a lot of the times I will have to stop and re-listen to a line or reread a line a few times to really understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
And so for that to happen, it was too much. And I think that's why it took me a really long time to get through the common route.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, like I said, it wasn't necessarily that the common route was long. It was long, I agree. But I don't think that deterred me from playing the game. And for anyone who's listening, I don't think that should deter you from playing the game because I do think the story is quite good.
Yeah, the story's amazing.
Just be aware that the common route is very long.
Yeah, you will not be making any decisions for quite a while.
Yes.
Yeah. Something that I really liked about the game and I thought added a lot to it is that most of the allies are friends. And that's something that I tend to enjoy in Otome games, the interactions between the allies and you getting to know not only them personally, but their relationships with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, a lot of them were wingmanning for the other one.
You mean Yosuka's wingmanning for everyone?
Pretty much.
And everyone's wingmanning for Akaza.
That's right.
It's amazing because you will be like towards the end of an ally's route and they'll be like, oh, I wish I were like Akaza, or are you sure you don't want to be with Akaza? And it's like, we're basically already dating, so why are you bringing up Akaza? And it's great because Olympia will actually say that. She'll be like, why are you talking about Akaza? I just said I like you.
Yeah. It's funny. Akaza is the golden boy in this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that too, the fact that a lot of them are friends and they know each other pretty well. Not all of them, like Himuka, no one really knows Himuka, but
because he's creepy baby.
Because
he's a reaper.
Baby, yeah.
He reaps souls. Nobody wants to be friends with him.
And Togisada, he kind of keeps to himself because he's an outsider. But the other three, well, Riku too. They knew Riku from a younger age, so the other four, I guess. They all get along pretty well, and they know each other well enough so that when Olympia interacts with them, she's not interacting just with the ally that she's talking to. She's also learning and gaining story about the other allies too.
Yeah, you will get a lot of scenes with Olympia interacting with 2 or 3 of the allies, especially towards the beginnings of the routes. And I really liked that. I thought it added a lot to the story.
Yeah, there is a point in Yosuka's route where she's talking to him and he's talking about his relationship with Kuroba. Kuroba's not even there, but it's really nice to see that it's not just so one-dimensional. It's not her and this one ally. It's that it's a community. So it really feels that way. I really liked it.
Yeah, that's nice. So, sister, I would like to bring up a point that you brought up throughout this episode so far.
What do you mean?
Well, when we were talking about each of the allies, the first thing that you would say for all of them is, I love him. Do you really love them all?
I do. Honestly, I love them all. There is no ally in this game that I did not love.
That's amazing.
I know.
For you especially, that's amazing.
I know. Usually I pick a favorite. I went into this game thinking, okay, I know my type. I'm probably going to fall in love with Yosuga. End of story. I started playing Riku's route and I was like, oh no, I'm in love with Riku. Okay, so Riku and Yosuga. Then I started playing Togisada's route and I'm like, oh no, I love Tokisada. Okay, fine. It's Tokisada, Riku, and Yosuga. So finally I play Yosuga's route. Yes, of course I love him. No surprise there. Then I play Kuroba's route. And lo and behold, I love Kuroba. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I go through Himuka, I go through Akaza. I love them all. They are wonderful.
So you are the ultimate Hakuoshi.
I am the ultimate Hakuoshi for Olympia Soiree.
My sister is the ultimate box pusher.
I can give you all of the good qualities of every single ally in this game because they are all wonderful and special in their own way, and they all made me cry and swell with happiness and love.
She'll push all the boxes.
Yeah, so that was my overall thought. It's just I love them all. Play the game. It's great. They're wonderful characters.
Wonderful. Okay, so what about the route order?
So I played it Riku first, then Tokisada, then Yosuga, Kuroba, and last I did Himuka, and you can only do Himuka and Akaza last. You can only do, like, those two at the very end after you finish the first four. You can do the first four in any order, but you have to save Himuka and Akaza for last.
I did the same order, because that is the recommended order, and I think it's good that that's the recommended order.
I 100% agree that it is good that it's the recommended order. I think, in some different routes, it makes sense to... You could do them out of order. You're just going to get different aspects. Like, some are going to focus mostly on the class system. Some are going to focus on mostly the Haku disease. Some of them are going to focus on mostly, like, the lore. So, regardless of, like, what order you do them in, like, you're going to get a lot of story at different points. But, you really get into the lore once you get to the last couple of routes. And I think it's hard to start there. You have to understand the society, you have to understand the island, the way people work on the island first. So starting with Riku and Tokisada was a good choice.
Yeah. And especially Riku's route, like, it gives you a lot of information into how the island's class systems work.
That's right.
So yeah, Riku, Tokisada, Yosuga, Kuroba, Himuka, Akaza.
Those are the recommended ways to do it, and we also recommend doing it in that order.
Yes, exactly. So, my dear sister, what is the thing that we do at the end of every part one of our reviews and twos?
It is time for Bone, Marry, or Yeet Off a Cliff.
Wonderful. So, we have, Vika's, Yukimura mug, Yukimura from Ikemen Sengoku. I know that last time we did Bone Marry Eat Off a Cliff, we used not Yukimura, we used Hideyoshi.
Did you forget Hideyoshi's name for a moment?
No, I'm just staring at Yukimura.
Oh, okay. Yes, we use not Yukimura.
Yeah, we used
Today,
Hideyoshi.
Though, we are at my house, so we are going to use Yukimura's wonderful little face. So I'm going to shake it up. You ready for me to shake it?
Sure. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake Yukimura. Shake Yukimura. All right. Bone Marry Eat Off a Cliff.
Bone Marry Eat Off a Cliff.
Who's number one?
Riku.
Okay.
All right. Riku's number one. Who's next?
Kuroba! Okay.
Kuroba's next. Who's the last one? Oh, no. This is too easy.
Himuka!
Well, I already know what you're going to say.
I don't know what I'm going to say.
Really?
No.
I'm shocked. I know exactly what I'm going to say.
Okay, then you say it first.
Okay, well, I'm definitely going to bone Kuroba. He knows what he's doing. Riku hasn't talked to a woman in like 30 years, so...
So you're going to what?
I'm going to bone Kuroba, I'm going to marry Riku, and then I'm going to yeet Himuka off a cliff.
I'm sorry, you're going to marry the one that hasn't talked to a woman in 30 years?
He'll figure it out. You can teach him. He's teachable. That is my answer. And I'm only eating Himuka because I probably wouldn't marry him.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a creepy baby.
Like, I love him as a character. I love him for Olympia. Their relationship was really, really cute and romantic. But for me specifically, he's very small and cute and adorable, and it's too much. So I would just have to help him disappear off the cliff and forget about him so I can focus on my husband Riku and my lover Kuroba. What about you?
I think I would switch some of these.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think I would bone Riku, marry Kuroba, and eat Himuka.
Okay.
Is that what you thought I would do?
Yeah, I had a feeling you would do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Kuroba's a doctor. Why wouldn't you marry the doctor?
I like Kuroba.
Yeah.
I think he's somebody who I would, like, want to spend more than one night with. Like, he seems like he'd be fun to be around, and I like that type.
Yes.
And Riku, like, I don't think I would necessarily want to bone or marry him, but I would want to bone him more than I would want to bone Himuka.
Agree. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Because Himuka is a creepy baby. Like, I know that Riku is hot, it's just that I might have to convince him a little bit to do the boning, because he is very stick-up-his-butt man.
Yeah, I suppose so. I guess the thing that really got me for Riku was playing his extra end and his best end, because, oh my, it was... Oh... Très magnifique.
Well, we're not going to talk about those, because that's for our next episode.
That's right, that's for our next episode. So let's end it here.
Yeah, okay. So we are, as usual, going to put this question on Twitter for you guys whenever this episode comes out at 1 p.m. today when the episode comes out. And we're going to ask you guys, who would you bone marry, yeet off a cliff? Riku, Kuroba, or Himuka?
Curious to see what you guys have to say.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's going to be similar to us.
I wonder if anybody's going to marry Himuka.
I think there might be some people marrying Himuka. I don't know if there will be anyone who chooses him to bone.
Oh,
because he's not really a boning character.
That's right, he's not a boning character.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. If you like what you hear and would like to support us, we have a Ko-fi account where you can donate to us keeping the podcast going.
We also have Twitter and Instagram where you can stay updated on what we're up to and other cool Otome-related stuff.
We also stream on Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursdays and the occasional Wednesday when one of us likes to do a solo gameplay. Anyways, thanks for listening, and we'll see y'all later. Bye!